It all started with my brother Andrew. I never liked to be told what to do, but when it comes to Andrew, why not? He's kind of an organizer, the guy that's always inviting everyone to join in. He said, "Simon, come on, we found the Messiah. This I had to see." That was the first time I met the rabbi. He looked me straight in the eye, real deep, like he could see into my insides. And then he changed my name. Peter, he called me Rock. No one ever called me Rock before. Maybe Fiery. Simon, Mom used to say, control yourself. Like to think of myself as a man of action. But rock solid, not so much. Kept asking, what is it you seek? I don't think any of us really knew how to answer such a question. At least not back then. No rabbi ever spoke like he did. He said, come follow me. So I did. There were 12 of us that stayed together. We followed him from one place to another. Always he was teaching and healing. Always inviting people to this new life, except for the religious leaders. I don't think they liked the competition. Someone teaching better than they could, they just wanted him out of the way. This one time, we were walking along the water's edge at the Sea of Galilee. There were thousands. He was teaching, and they just listened to him. But I think also many were hoping to get close enough to be healed. Some had demons, others were crippled or sick. And then night came. Well, a few of the guys were getting worried about dinner. We were all hungry. It was going to be hard enough to find food for 13 of us. The crowd, well, they had to fend for themselves. So we thought. Jesus tells us, feed them. We say, with what? Looking back, that was one of the dumbest questions I ever asked. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the last. You know how people can be. Once Jesus fed them all, they just came back the next day wanting more free bread. They said it was like free manna Moses had given our ancestors. But Jesus, he presses us on this, all of us. Do not work for bread that perishes, he says, like the manna. I guess people have forgotten it's only good for one day. And then manna rots. No, he says, work for the bread that brings eternal life. So I'm thinking, hey, I know what he's talking about, the Torah. We call the Torah the bread of life. Okay, I'm following you, Jesus. Eat the words of the Torah, the words of eternal life. Wrong again. Man, that's a story of my life. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I give for the life of the world is my flesh. Whoa, Nelly, this was a hard teaching. Well, to be honest, most of the followers couldn't abide by it. Honestly, I think they just wanted to keep seeing miracles. And getting free bread. And in their defense, eating flesh and drinking blood sounds pretty disgusting. Even though they had been listening all day, I don't think any of them really thought about his words, his teachings. Otherwise, this hard teaching, well, wouldn't have been so hard. A lot of the people left. I told him we weren't leaving, me being sort of our leader. I answered for all the guys. Jesus had the words of eternal life. He was the Holy One of God. We were still learning what that meant, but we believed. Oh, and about me being a leader, mine had been a bit of an overstatement on my part. Everywhere we went, he drew a crowd. He kept saying, I am, I am, I am. Do you know what I am is? Ego eimi. That's the Greek. It's the same way God described himself to Moses. I am. Jesus said, I am the bread, water, light, life. Everywhere we went, he was making it clear. His words and signs could only mean one thing. So then it's the night before Passover. This was the third Passover I spent with him. We were all hanging out, sharing a meal, relaxing. And then he does something. Well, let's just say, if you thought the flesh thing was hard to take, try having your master wash your feet. Shoot, only servants washed other people's feet. I had to say something mean. Me being the spokesman for the group and all, no way, Rabbi, I said, you're not washing my feet. You would like to think I've known better by then. Like Mama always said, Simon, control yourself. He tells us two things. He has to wash our feet so that we may have a share with him, but then he tells us all to go and do the same for others. The whole time I was with him, the Lord was always teaching, baptizing, inviting people to eternal life, taking care of their souls. And he was always serving people, healing people, cleansing them, talking to them, taking care of their needs. Follow my example. That's what he wanted us to do. Okay, yes, There was the ear incident. Let's just say not my finest moment. But I guess my lowest point was the rooster thing. He told me it was going to happen. No way, I said. How many times can one guy be so wrong? They had arrested Jesus. John had connections. He got us into the courtyard of the high priest's office. I thought I could just, sort of blend in. Yeah, sure, like a guy from Galilee could ever blend in. So this girl asks, "Aren't you one of the disciples too?" No. I didn't know what was up, but I was scared about them arresting me too. I should have never gone. He told us not to. Did I mention what my mom always said? Jesus was in there with the high officials being questioned. He's brave. He's telling the truth. And here I am out in the courtyard, a coward, with a bunch of lowly servants telling lies. 3 times, just to be clear. It was a real mess. Still don't know why he chose me. Then why does he choose any of us? Blessed mystery, that's what it is. What did he say? I am the good shepherd. I lay down my life for my sheep. I will lose none of them. Stupid sheep, that's what I am. It was a tough few days, so we headed back to Galilee, waiting for what? We weren't sure, but one thing I knew for certain, I was out. No one who messes up as much as me can stay. I was just hoping they would still be my friends. I mean, we'd been through a lot, me and the guys. Maybe I could be the fisherman, provide for the group, sustain us. Just wishful thinking, I guess. That's the thing about Jesus, though. He doesn't seem to worry about mistakes. Well, not in the way others do. He just draws you in, and then everything changes. He asked me right in front of the guy, "Simon, Peter, do you love me?" "Yes, you know I do," I said to him. He says, "Feed my sheep." Feed my sheep 3 times, he says. The good shepherd wants me to feed his sheep, to care for his sheep, to be rock solid, to be reliable, to be a leader, to be a fisher of men. I'll tell you one thing is certain. When you encounter Jesus, nothing is ever the same again.